Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to do my top 5 all-time favorite decks. I am so excited to be sharing this video with you. I just kind of want to have a chit-chat style video. I have a cup of mint tea. Feel free to share a beverage with me. You don't have to just have tea, you can have coffee, you can have wine, beer, whatever you like. I'm just drinking tea because I'm sick right now. I'm still recovering from my cold, so fun stuff over here. So I'm sure some of you are not going to be surprised what made number 5 on my list of all-time favorite decks. It's the Trick or Treat Tarot. So absolutely love this deck. I think this is such a fun deck. It's a Barbara Moore deck, so the guidebook is really nice. Llewellyn deck, so easy to purchase, very accessible, mass market, mass produced. You can get it just about anywhere you get your tarot decks. I just got this one on Amazon. And sorry, excuse me. I love the artwork. As I've mentioned before on my channel, I really do enjoy the costumes in this deck. I think the costumes give this deck such a unique personality, and it gives it the ability to wear multiple hats in your collection. You can work with this in so many different ways. You can use it for a card a day, you can use it for shadow work, and it's really just these costumes. You can use it to identify certain beings that you're working with on your path, to identify like what type of entities are your guides. Like, for example, if they're fae. I mean, there's so many different beings depicted throughout the deck here. I do have a full review on my channel of this deck, so I'm gonna spare you the reiteration. But this made this made the deck list of my top 5 favorite. It's in the 5th spot. Next on my list, this is number 4 on my list, the Wild Unknown Tarot. I absolutely adore this deck. I really enjoy the animal energy. I find that similarly to the Witch Sister Tarot, it has a very raw and powerful energy. Sorry, I just dropped a card. It has a very raw and powerful energy. It's, I find this deck is excellent for shadow work because the imagery can bring a lot of thoughts and emotions up to the surface. I've always felt a really strong connection to this deck. It's a difficult deck to read if you're new to tarot though, so you might want to skip this until you have a better understanding of tarot, unless you feel extremely drawn to, working with this deck. Because the guidebook, it doesn't really give very much information, at least from what I can remember. To be honest, I don't even work with the guidebook when I work with this deck. I just use this deck purely intuitively. And I really enjoy the animal energy. I really like to work with animals on my path. I like to work with them symbolically. I believe every animal has a spiritual correspondence, so I like to work with animals that way, also through mythology as well. So I really enjoy connecting with this deck in that way. Oh, I have a lot of reversals. So this is number 4 on my list. So this actually used to be my very favorite tarot deck, but that has since changed. Okay, number 3 on my top 5 favorite decks. the Herbcrafters Tarot. I absolutely love this deck. I edged mine not great in this light green color. I think it needs 1 or 2 more coats maybe, but I love this deck. It has some of the most beautiful imagery. I enjoy working with this deck a lot in the spring and summer months. Maybe a little bit in the fall as well too, for connecting with a deity like Persephone, Hecate, any herb-related deities. I could see even maybe Venus. I know she's a lot of herbs. Fruit. Sorry, I'm struggling with my words a lot today. I didn't sleep very well from the congestion, so I'm really struggling with my brain power today. But I know Venus is associated with a lot of different fruits and herbs, vegetables as well. So you could probably work with Venus using this deck as well. So I love the imagery. I couldn't tell you enough. And I find that this deck is excellent for working with ancestors. And I love how the guidebook gives you some tips on how to work with each herb that's associated, depicted in each card. So I think this deck is just so wonderful. I'm so happy that I have it. So this is number 3 on my all-time favorite deck list. This is probably not going to surprise you. Number 2 all-time favorite deck is the Botanical Oracle by 4 Strange Women. Sorry, I just dropped a card. I adore this deck. I purchased this deck to communicate with Hecate around my birthday last year, so March. So I've almost had this deck a year. And I predominantly like to work with this deck like a lot of my decks. I like to work with this one predominantly intuitively. The meanings that come with the deck, it's just a small pamphlet I can show you. And to be honest with you, a lot of the meanings on the pamphlet don't line up with what I can feel intuitively coming through with each card. So I do like to really sit with the imagery. I like to journal about it. I've gone on so many deck studies with this deck. I like to write down what I think any herbs depicted on the cards or animals, what I think they mean or represent to me. I will look up on Google what certain associations are as well, and I'll journal about that. So I do find that this deck is excellent for the intuitive reader. If you have a very strong connection with your intuition, or even if you're trying to build that connection, this is an excellent deck to work with. Now, it is an indie deck. It's an investment, and this deck is quite expensive. And that's something that you probably want to take into consideration, because the guidebook, it might not be what you want, as it is just a pamphlet. There's not very much information there. So, as well as the artwork on this deck wasn't created for the deck. It was actually created for perfume, because 4 Strange Women, the business that brought the Botanical Oracle to life, is actually a perfume company. So a lot of the artwork for this deck was created for their perfumes. I find that a lot of the imagery, it's life, death, and rebirth focused. There's some witchcraft imagery as well. There's a cauldron depicted in the deck. There's a lot of cards that are associated with death or birth, life, etc., transformation, a lot, which gives me the impression that it's like birth, death, and rebirth focused. So you don't have to just work with Hecate using this deck. There's so many other deity that you can connect with using this deck. So this is my second favorite deck of all time, the Botanical Oracle by Four Strange Women. So my absolute top favorite deck of all time is the Witch Sister Tarot by Julia Jeffrey. It is a mass-produced, mass market. You can purchase it off Amazon. That's how I got my copy. And I am in love with this deck. I consider this my soul deck now. For so many years, it was the Wild Unknown Tarot, and it's been bumped down my list significantly because of some of the newer decks that I have in my collection. And this deck, it has such a strong and beautiful energy. The artwork is just fantastic. Julia Jeffries just has this incredible ability to just the people, like even the animals, their expressions, they're so incredibly powerful. There is nudity in this deck, by the way. I'm about to show you an image with nudity. So, but yeah, just I love the lines on their face. Like to me, they're coming alive. I wouldn't be surprised if she's possibly, maybe some of these people are people that she knows. Like I know a lot of the people in the deck are actually Celtic gods. So, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if she could channel these, energies, and deities, and she's able to draw how they appear to her. So, personality-wise, this deck is, like I've mentioned before on my channel, it's very raw, it's very powerful. I find that it's excellent for really stepping into your empowerment. And I'm finding that this deck, it's excellent at really connecting with the femme fatale archetype, the witch archetype, dark feminine archetype. I could go on and on. And it really does help you step into your sovereignty, your empowerment. It really likes to deliver messages geared towards that. Even the guidebook talks about sovereignty. Of course, I could be pulling the cards associated with sovereignty because of what's going on in my life. I'm really connected to trying to feel more empowered as I'm going through like a significant transformation and transition in my life. So that could be what's going on. I feel like this deck is excellent for transformation, shadow work. I could see that. This deck could be excellent for that. The deck also, the guidebook talks a lot about different animals, Celtic myths, specifically Scottish. As I've mentioned before on my channel, I'm half Scottish on my mother's side, so I feel a very strong connection to my Scottish ancestry, even my ancestors. So I feel a very strong connection to the crone archetype as well through this deck. I think each 10 in her deck has a crone depicted. So wonderful deck. This deck, it's impacted my life. It has a very, I have a soft spot in my heart now for it. It's a very magical, very powerful deck. And I'm just so happy that Julia Jeffries was able to create this deck. I think this is going to be a deck that people are going to be drawn to for the next, I don't know, 10, 15 years, who knows how long. I think this is going to be maybe like the next Wild Unknown tarot deck. It's going to be one that we all just feel called to. But yeah, this is the Witch Sister Tarot. It's published by Llewellyn. You can buy it on just about any website that you can, or any store that you can get a mass market deck from. And this is my top 5 favorite decks of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.